Hey man, what's going on? So I'm glad I have a little bit of time. I decided to finally finish editing this video. I'd posted pictures of the final build on Instagram and wanted to show a video of how I built it. It's essentially a black acrylic box. I had it laser cut from a friend, which is really neat. Easy way to get stuff, much better than a Dremel. I put these sawn-offs inside and it allows me to control 4 different outlets. I'm going to be using it for my pump system eventually, but you can use it pretty much for anything that you would desire, and it's pretty easy to do. The sawn-offs are cheap, the plugs are cheap, the wires are cheap. The acrylic was like, I think 20 bucks. So I built a box that suited me and put it together. The gluing process was pretty easy. I've never worked with acrylic before. I definitely will not be doing what I did on this time, which is using so much glue. I had glue dropping everywhere and wasn't holding it while it fell. So with that said, it's pretty much me just figuring out a way to put this box together. I have pegs in the corners and that kind of stuff. It's not super exciting, but if you've worked with acrylic before, I would love some tips. I would also like you to not ridicule me for not doing a great job. I also wish I had kept that brown sheet on because I'd spilled glue and tried to rub it off. And because it's not glue, it's a weld. It's smeared and burned and welded and corroded certain areas. So it didn't come out as clean as I was hoping, which is unfortunate. But it did come out, it does function, and I do like it. It does look pretty sweet. I just wish I hadn't messed it up with over gluing and was more confident about what I was doing. To be completely honest, I wish I had more know-how to begin with, but if I ever do this again, which I plan on doing with some other stuff, that I will make it look a lot better. But it functions, it works, it looks cool, it's a neat thing. And if you do it too, send me pictures because I like to see that shit. On to the next order of business. Let's talk about what space I have in the garage. Finally clean the garage out. I have a 10 by 15 space. I don't want to use it all because I gotta be able to do plumbing and be able to get to it and that kind of stuff. So I think I finally settled with a 8 by 6 and a 6 by 4. I might even cut it down to a 4 by 4. I don't need that much veg space. I would like to have some space to put my cabinet that I have right now so that I can keep doing clones in that one, because I have more shelves to put in and I can make that like a clone box, high humidity, high temperature, that kind of stuff, controlling what the environment of that area is, which is kind of nice. But I would also like to have a space that does a veg pretty quickly. I want some mothers in there too, and I want to be able to flower and do once a month crop. So if I have like 4 channels, I'm doing it in the Rockwell channels like THC Titan. I got 10 of them for $1 each from some guys selling them online, so I was super stoked on that. But with that said, I think I just need to work on it a little more. And my girlfriend does interior design and she knows how to do CAD, and I'm gonna have her design me the ideal room, but I got to figure that out a little bit. But until we do, this is pretty much what I'm settled with, is figuring out what it is and what's my space. And now that I have that, we're on to the next step. So bear with me. Thanks guys, and let's get back to this. Here we go, and I'm just soldering it together. I'll skip all that kind of stuff so you don't have to watch it. And I put the 4-channel Pro in the sawn-off 4-channel Pro. I didn't like it because each sawn-off only has 8 different functions, so it can only do 8 on and offs, and I have 4 outlets, which would mean each one only gets 1 on and off. And I didn't like that, so I went with the smaller versions. And also I was hoping that the bigger one had a loop setting. It didn't. These small ones do, and essentially the loop setting is really cool because it allows me to do 1 minute to 24 hours, I think, and anything in between. I could pretty much set any different time, so I can have it come on at a certain time. Every 5 hours it waters, or this time it waters for 1 minute, and I can pretty much control it. I wish it would go lower than a minute, but it doesn't. And this is my retry at the sawn-off connection to the Wi-Fi. I'm just plugging everything in so it's ready to go, and then I'm going to attempt to reconnect it to the internet. This time it works, so we can move on and I can show you what to do with it. And so you'll just see me setting up the loop timer and starting it, and then you'll watch the lights will be like the pumps or whatever it is, or the actual lights or whatever you're going to be using it for. But you could see them going on and off based on a minute. Now I understand that I sped the video up and you might have to watch the timer in the corner of my phone that I recorded, and the fact that I had done this 2 times with 3 different recordings, because I realized the first time and second time I wasn't actually recording anything because for some reason it just didn't record, so I redid it. But I also also screen recorded each time, so I had 3 different screen recordings. I don't know if I link the right ones together, so sorry about that. But essentially this is it. It's just a timer box that allows me to control different timers on and off, and it makes it a clean thing that looks really cool, and at least I think it looks pretty cool. And it's convenient, and I could put it anywhere, and I think I'm gonna hang it and use it for my pump system to have pretty much a RO pump, a veg pump, a flower pump, and a late bloom pump. And so having all of those put together, it'll make for a really good and easy way of watering and automating everything. And this was very cheap and affordable, and it probably cost me less than 50 bucks. So with all of that said, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. And remember to grow it funky, keep it fresh.